Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another edition of the Dating Diaries. I am your host, Christal XO, and we are welcoming everyone who is joining us. You guys go ahead and come on in, have a seat, sit down, because we're going to have a great conversation today. But before I get started, as every week, I have to bring in my co host, Scorpio Moe. Okay.
Yeah.
What's going on over there?
Happy Wednesday. What's up, y'all? What's up,
Happy
Crystal?
Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
How's your week so far? I see you got some there's not libations. What exactly is that you got going on there?
What happened?
You lighten? What are you cutting? Lighten? What's happening?
Lighting.
Okay, okay. All
Like
right. I thought you looked like you were cutting it off there. Okay.
nah. Lighting it. A smooth week so far. We're 3 days in, but it's actually 6 days in for me. What is it? 10? I don't know. I work a lot of days in a row. But in any case,
Okay. Well,
we are here.
we like a man that works. Work is good.
We're getting closer to the weekend.
You know what? I keep every week I try to go live on Instagram as well. And for some reason, it just will not work. I don't know why.
That's because they know that you're on YouTube.
They do. They will not. They will not. I cannot go live on both. That is so crazy. But in any case, it's all good. It's all good. We'll just stay here on YouTube and Facebook.
What's up, y'all?
Hey. So you know what I thought we would do today? First of all, oh, thank you, Cherry. First of all, I thought we would do something. I thought I would start out with something different. We know that tonight our topic is what makes someone wife material, what makes a woman wifey material, right? And what makes a man husband material. Because, and I'm doing this. I wanted to do this today because I had a pop culture power earlier this week, and I talked about one of the things I talked about was, well, actually the subject was Kirk Frost and how Kirk Frost from Love and Hip Hop,
Right.
and how I felt like he did a bigger fumble by cheating on Rashida than I think people were comparing him to Stevie J or to Benzino, and also Peter Guns, right? And Peter Guns, I will say, Peter definitely came in a close second, right?
Okay.
But I just felt like Kirk fumbling Rashida because that was his wife. And I feel like, she is obviously a woman of value. Like doing that to her was something very different. And so I made a comment that doing that to Rashida was different than Stevie J with Mimi and Jocelyn, right? And so one of my XO family members was like, oh, well, and I said that because Mimi had done a porn, that essentially rendered her not necessarily wifey material. And one of the viewers was like, no, that does not mean that she's not wife material just because she does a porn. So then I started thinking like, what? What? Because for me, and I will get into that, but that's what today's conversation is about. We have, what's up, C-Dub? We haven't seen
What up, C-Dub?
We haven't seen you in the last couple of Wednesdays. So we're going to talk about what makes a woman wifey material, and then next Wednesday we're going to follow up with part 2 about what makes a man husband material. And today we have a guy that's going to join us. We're just going to have a conversation, and then next week we have a dating coach that is going to join us, so a female dating coach. So I want to just have a little feedback, because you know what, I'm a woman, so maybe I don't know what makes wife material. Perhaps it's okay to put out a porn after you have after you're a mother in your 40s. Maybe that still renders you wife material, but we'll get into that in a minute. But as you guys know, every Wednesday we are talking about dating dilemmas and dating disasters, right? So I thought that usually you and I talk about dating disasters. That's usually our thing, right? But I thought, I saw a friend of mine yesterday, and she, I think, just turned 50. And she was like, Christal, I'm at this event. I went to meet her at an event. There were a lot of men there. And I was like, hey, this is a good look for you. You're in a good space, for go ahead and smile at some people. And, and she was like, well, I just, these guys here are not really choosing, and I don't really know what to do here. They're just kind of standing around. You give them a compliment, they don't respond, and so I thought, you know what? Because people like to dismiss my pain because I am recently married. So people are like, oh, well, Christal, you don't understand because you're married, and I'm like, girl, I just got married. I was in these single Atlanta streets for years. You were my sounding board through most of those years. And so I thought, you know what? In the spirit of making sure that I don't want to feel like I'm out of touch, I wanted to talk about one of my dating dilemmas. And this is one I brought to you before, this particular situation. I remember talking to you about it. I talked to a lot of one of my guy friends about it, and I know the answer now, but at the time I did not know the answer. So
did you not accept the answer then? And now you do.
You know what? That's probably the truth, but but I really didn't. If I wasn't accepting it, it wasn't because I was trying to be hard headed. I was just very perplexed.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
was extremely perplexed, right? Okay, so this is Christal's dating dilemma. I'm very I would say I'm very particular, right? I don't really, like, if I go out, it wasn't like I would find a lot of guys I was actually into. I was at this event, and it was an NBA, a client of mine hosts the Black NBA for people that people that have their master's their master's degrees, the event for them. So I was there. And at the time I was working on my master's. I didn't have it yet, but I was working on it, and I was there with her. She invited me to come out. And so I was there, but as you know, when I'm working, I'm usually in work mode. So I wasn't really like, looking around to hit on guys. Now, looking back, what a great room to be in, right? These guys all have their masters, and they're, part of the corporate landscape of Atlanta. So I was there, and this guy is talking to my client, and I did not notice him at first, because he was not my usual physical type. And so he just kept talking, and eventually he said, hello. And I was like, hi. And he was like, can you introduce me to her? And so he asked the client to introduce him to me. And he was like, this is Christal. He wants to meet you. And so we met, and we exchanged numbers, and he immediately started to pursue, right? So he called me. Now, one of the things I liked about this guy is that, like I said, he wasn't necessarily my physical type at all, which is why I wasn't really paying attention when he was trying to get my attention. But after I talked to him, because I do feel I have sapiosexual energy, not all the way, because I like things that look nice. But his conversation was just so amazing, and he was intriguing. He was very smart, very witty, and I just really started to enjoy his conversation, like very, very much, right? So he happened to be do promotions here in the city, and he did a couple of events, and so he invited me out to his events. Now, you guys know I'm recovered because I don't date. I was not open to dating promoters or anybody like that. But at this time, I was not delivered. I was still, trying to find my way. So I came to a couple of his events, and I really liked the way he carried himself at his events. I'm watching, I come with my girlfriends. He got a table for us. They usher us in. We don't have to wait in the line, which I really didn't like to do anyway. But just, we had the little VIP treatment. He was, very cool. So your friends come out. The guy that you're talking to has a place for you guys. It was great. And unlike a lot of people in the Atlanta party scene, he was just very intellectual. That was very just attractive to me. So he started to pursue, but then he was pursuing, and I remember we went out. He came to pick me up for lunch, and we had lunch because both of us worked a lot. It felt very right. Now, once he once I started to really like him a lot, he kind of slacked off, right? And so that perplexed me and that became the issue. So then I was like, why would he pursue me? And then once, I started to actually like him back, he kind of backed off. And he wasn't always available. So now I'm not always available either, but it just became like I started wanting to see him more. He did not start having the same interest in seeing me more. So I would come to his events and he would invite me. I'd come to the events. He would do a little flirting with me, make me feel special, and then, on about his way. Because I'm not clingy, but that probably worked to his benefit because I wasn't clingy at all. So anyway, he invited me on a few more things. And at this point, because I was really, really into him, like we went out to dinner a couple of times. And I remember I was on my phone and he told me it was rude. I needed to get up and go outside. And I was just like, wow, nobody tells me that. So no guys ever like really confront me. So that made me like him even more because he was like, this, I don't know, confident. He was very confident. He was very New York. He was from New York, very just that kind of bravado. Anyway, my dilemma ends up being like, what is the deal? Because he was pursuing hard at first, but then he slowed down. So I didn't know what it was. Do you remember this? Do you remember me talking to you about him?
No, but I'm listening.
You know who it is though, right?
I think so. I don't remember it happening in real time, but as you go on, but I know who it is at the end. I mean, now I do, but when it was happening, I don't remember. But go ahead, continue.
So anyway, my dilemma was, why was he doing this, right? Why did he pursue hard?
Oh, I know you're talking about. Yeah, I do know. My bad. I just thought about it.
Why did he pursue hard and then slow down, right? And then ultimately, this went on for about 6 months, right? And then one of my friends, another guy that I had talked to about it, he called me. He was like, Christal, I have to tell you something. I was at a party. The guy came, and it's really weird that I remember this story now because of everything that's going on with Diddy. But there was this party that one of my friends was a part of, and they brought in some ladies of the night. And the ladies of the night, were up for fun as long as there was cash payment. And the guy that I really liked, that was so intellectual, purchased a woman of the night. And I was like, what? No, why would he do that?
It's a couple things wrong already, but
I know. I just want you guys to know that I was out here making bad decisions.
Not even with you.
So, okay, so he gave up. Eat the cake, and I'm getting to it. The point is,
put cheese on the crackers when they try to tell you, Chris.
Anyway, long story short, C-Dub, the guy purchased a lady the other night, and then a few months later, one of my girlfriends told me, Christal, he has a girlfriend. So then I understood why he stopped pursuing. He was in heavy pursuit early on, but then he saw that I wasn't probably with the, I wasn't giving up anything really quickly, and I wanted more from him than he was willing to give. And so, yeah. But I remember being very perplexed about why would he chase me so hard? Why we have these great conversations? He was so complimentary and all this stuff just to purchase a woman of the night, and then found out that he had a girlfriend. And yeah, and I would say that is the only person that I have ever dated in Atlanta that did not come back around and say, well, no, we had a conversation a few years later where he was like, well, if I had met you you're a good girl, you're a great woman. If I had met you before, things could have been different. But at the time, I was still upset and didn't understand even then. Like, well, you guys weren't married, but he was locked into this relationship. And a lot of times you feel like if you meet a guy and you like him a lot, maybe he would be open to leaving his relationship if he's not, because he wasn't telling me that he was as locked in as he was. So anyway, yes. Do you remember that though? You don't remember that?
Not really. But I do know the person, but I don't remember this.
You remember I really liked him.
Yeah, I know. Check this out, right? Some people in your journey of, you could be dating someone and then you meet someone else. Mm-hmm. And you can like two people at the same time. I just want people to be clear.
All right.
Now, you could be confused or trying to figure it out or whatever the case may be. But as you go along, you start to think, well, Dag, I don't really want to hurt her. But if I get caught with her, by her, it wouldn't be so bad. But I don't want to hurt her in the process of not breaking up with the original woman. I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of times that happens. This is why you should just stay away from these things. But it brought me to something that you sent me earlier today. Uh-huh. When you sent me something based on, it was this woman, I know the woman, I ain't say her name, but she was saying about guys' pages, right?
Yes.
On social media. If she said 90% of what, if you pay attention to what a man follows, right? Mm-hmm. That could tell you a lot about him. It can and it can't. You can get a good read on him. Mm-hmm. I call BS on that. And this is the reason why. And it's kind of like what you just said, but you're saying in the reality, not in social media world. His intellect, he was smart, that kind of thing. But he still liked the ratchet stuff. Mm-hmm. See, that doesn't mean, it's a lot of dudes out there who women think, oh, this guy's intelligent. Or I even say, yo, he's dropping real jewels. He's informative. He's this, that, and the other. But then I go along and I see some ass shaking on the video. I like it. And guess what? I see that he liked it too. Mm-hmm. It don't mean shit. It don't. Like, you can be ratchet and righteous. Like, stop thinking that some of the people that you see and some of the people throughout history who we swear that are this, whether it's Martin Luther King or whoever, and you find out they got their background ain't as clean as you think it is. You know,
that's true, because and Andrea, he did purchase the lady of the night while having a girlfriend, and was pursuing me while having a girlfriend. But I remember being so hurt and so just like so surprised that he would do that, because I had put him on this pedestal because he was very, very, very intelligent. You know, had a corporate. And I was just like, why would he do that? You know, because this friend is kind of ratchet that told me that. And it was a ratchet party at somebody's house, very low brow.
And the person that told you, never mind. Go ahead.
You know who told me?
I don't want to know.
I'm texting you who told me, so you'll understand that that person is from New York as well, right?
That's even worse.
Why? Why is it bad that he told me?
Anyway,
he was trying to help me. You should have told me if you saw him out doing that.
Mind my business, man.
I don't like it. That's not friendly. That's not friendly.
Unless I thought he was trying to kill you or something, I might tell you.
You really would not have told me?
I don't know. I doubt it. If I saw you doing something.
See, but you're not his friend. You're not his friend, though.
I'm new. Hey, I don't go back. I tell him, like, and this is what I've learned, because when I was either 19 or 20, I did that. And you know the person I did it to. And he was the other party. And I was like, yo, because the two dudes, they introduced me to each other. I mean, I was introduced and I was like, yo, homie is with your chick who you got the. And then he went back, told her that I told him, and told the other dude called me. And this was a lesson learned. And I was like, he was like, yo, you went back and told that I was.
No, I'm just saying.
And now they wind up speaking and everybody wind up hating me. They got back.
It has nothing to do with me. And you and I were friends to the point where, and I was fragile. If you saw him do that and you didn't tell me, you would have been wrong.
Back then, I understand what you're saying because you were fragile, but I've seen people get back together And then they told
we
him that
weren't
they
going to
looking
get back together because he just wasn't into me like that. So that wasn't.
no. I mean, it's, like I said, the situation is delicate. It depends on the situation. But I've seen people get back together, and that's why you stay out of people's business, because they'll forgive them, but they won't forgive you.
I agree with that, but I agree with that 100%. But I do have a problem with that because of the way our friendship is. And
No,
let me finish. If you knew I liked him, like this guy, he said, Christal, I know how much you like him. I just think that you should know this. You know what I mean? Like,
did he know? If I don't
they
know the
weren't
dude,
cool like that. He knew of him, but they weren't buddies or anything.
it's delicate, man. It's touchy, man.
I didn't say anything to this day. He doesn't even know that I know that, but I appreciate that friend telling me so I would know not to be laying in the bed thinking about this guy at night. Like, I needed to know that.
Let me
Obviously, I
ask you
need
this:
different friends than Mo.
are there friends that you, and I know you do. This is the wild part. I know that you have friends who you know stuff about that you don't tell other people. Now, you might not, depending, like I said, the relationship with you is a little different, but there's stuff that you know, and you know how people carry themselves outside. Do you go tell the other person? It's touchy, man.
It's touchy, but in that situation, I'm glad the guy did tell me.
No, I'm glad he did too.
And I'm glad you weren't the one that was there, because you wouldn't have told me.
I wouldn't have told your shit neither, nigga.
I'm just saying that you shouldn't, because we're friends. Like, somebody, how do you have the same loyalty to some dude that you don't know that you have?
It's not law. It's to me. What I'm saying is, I won't say nothing to know. I stay in the middle and mind my business. Now, if it's something that's going to like hurt you or in the manner of it's delicate, man. I'm keeping real. It's touchy. If I'm dealing with men, we keep men and members. I'm dealing with women. I don't go back and be like, he said, she said, because they forgive everybody but the person that spread the stuff, and it gets
I don't feel like that applies to this.
Then you're gonna be like, Mo of such and such feels uncomfortable with you around. I was like, yeah, I wonder why.
That bothers me, that I thought our friendship was different than it was, but that was years ago. Thankfully, I'm not as fragile as I was back then. But back then, I'm glad that friend was like, I know you really like him. I know you want it to work, but I don't think that's the dude that you really want.
Who's the friend that told you?
I'm not telling you now.
Yeah, you probably should. You probably should.
I am not telling you, but yes. Anyway, so that's my dating dilemma. So my point in sharing that story is that it took me a long time to realize that anytime a guy is not pursuing consistently, then he's just not that into you. And as much as that bothered me, probably to learn that, the reality was I should have left him alone as soon as he dropped off. Right now, I don't know what I could have done differently, you know what I mean? Because in the situation, I definitely did not go after him. He definitely came after me. But I probably should have paid attention and let go way sooner than I did, you know.
What do they say? The signs are there early or whatever. But let me ask you this. What if it was a situation he was just busy, or because we hear this now, like they say men don't pursue women like they used to, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you hear that now. And I think women killed it. That is really their fault a lot of times. But just because they just took advantage of it. They abused it. They took advantage of it. They played games with it. And Zul just got tired. So he, even myself, and just be like, look, if I know she came on to me, if she was on to me, then I know she might take it a little bit more serious, because women don't do that often. But I've seen women play with that, especially now. And then the songs are telling them to do it, and they're living by that. So it's like, you don't know who's who. So I know if she has the nerve to, and it's not like an approach. It's like how you said the what did your friend do? You were telling her, I looked at the guy, she did this, like those type of things. I'm going on them. I'm not just cold turkey no more, nothing like that. Because, like I said, the way that it goes now, I don't know who's who. But if she comes out the bag and a little flirtatious or whatever, then I'm like, okay, I see what this is. Then I go in. But I think in those situations when a guy stops doing that now, because this was years ago in your situation.
Yeah, I mean, but he pursued, but I always liked very brazen, very
right.
Like that's attractive to me. I'm not ever hitting on no guy, and I'm probably not doing a lot of flirting because I'm just not. I'm kind of shy if I like somebody. So I, I, but I also know like my personality is the type that if a guy is too cool and standoffish, I don't want to talk to you anyway because I want the one that's like he was. He was very, very, very bold, very brazen, very in your face.
And you see how that turned out.
But I got another one that it turned out great though.
Yes, you
I
did.
never had no problem getting that type because
yes,
I think that you know I smile and that's it. But I'm just not. I am not because I tell you why. I have seen that go the opposite way. I have seen girls hit on a guy, and a guy very rarely do men.
Oh shit! Good.
Very rarely do men. If a girl approaches them and they have a girlfriend at home, or a wife or a fiance, they never be like, you know what? I'm sorry, ma'am. Thank you for your attention and your interest, but I'm taken. They just be like, "Word."
Nah, you know what it is? I'm gonna give
Definitely,
women.
Gun Boss made the first move. I don't make moves on guys.
I'm gonna give women
a
tip on this one. When he does have a woman, he's gonna get that off in the first sentence and a half.
Which is how?
He's gonna feel your energy if you're flirting or whatever and see it, and then he's gonna put it out there. I just want to say, you know,
I've never heard of a guy doing that.
These are all cheaters. I'm talking about the guy that's not there for that and that's going to speak and into his woman.
What percentage is that?
He's going to find a way to lace it in the oh, I like your necklace. Oh, my wife, my girlfriend, my fiance bought it for these type of things.
Seen that happen. Yeah, I've said
it.
Okay.
I've said it's true. He's gonna say it early. Now the guy that's playing or the guy that goes too hard. See, this is the tricky part when guys go. The guy who has a woman is going to, and he's a cheater. He's going to go hard. You know why? Because he has nothing to lose. That's why he's going hard and talking to everybody. Because at the end of the day, he's still gonna go home to somebody.
That's true. That's true. Edna says, Crystal, you like the LL Cool J type. I think everybody likes the LL Cool J type. But no, I definitely like, I just like men that are very like aggressive. You know, I like the aggressiveness for me, not everybody. And I think that there's something that said, I brought a clip today because I feel like we can say, I mean, this is our show, so we can say what we like, right? But everything is not for everybody. So some girls don't like aggressive guys. I used to love guys from the East Coast.
Aggressive or assertive?
Both.
Aggressive nowadays. Woo, be careful.
I mean, but I got one that's very assertive, but wasn't from the East Coast. But I prefer one that, you know, marks his territory up front. It's just attractive to me. I do my little dance because I like that. All right, Mo, give us a dating dilemma that you've had before.
I done gave y'all all. Come on, y'all. What do y'all want from me, man?
You have years.
What else do you want from
me? You have decades of dating. You definitely have a dilemma.
I got a dilemma right now.
Do you really? Share it with us. Share it with us, pray tell.
Anybody that's halfway interested, I'm halfway interested in, don't even live in this state. That's my dilemma.
Well,
that's why I can always tell they're not from here by their attitude. I'll be like, yeah, give her about 6 months. She gonna be just like her.
But I told you.
Or they're older. The ones that act right.
I feel like you should I feel like, hold on. Well, I feel like I can't get this out.
Uh-oh.
I was just trying to I was trying to add a picture to the damn.
In the meantime, between time, check Crystal out on Mondays, 8 o'clock. Pop culture. How you say, Crystal?
It's fine. Pop culture power. Okay. Gun boss. I can't. I was gonna post this thing, but I can't. Oh, you know what? I do have it. I do have it. Somebody asked who. Somebody asked who hit on the other person first with me and Gun Boss. So I actually had this to share with you guys 2 Wednesdays ago when I ended up getting sick, and so this was our first conversation, me and Adrian. So this was underneath my intro. He put very beautiful. I said thank you. He said you are so welcome. Maybe we can chant sometimes. And then I said sure. And then there we are, like on like a, I don't know, one of our early dates. Yeah.
Were you guys at the Underground?
No, we were at Sugar Factory.
Okay.
But yeah, he said, and he just said, well, we should chat sometime. And I said, sure. I was just, I was very, cool.
Yeah, that was an easy going.
Yeah, that's what it was, very easy. So then we ended up talking, and he called me on FaceTime because I was on Facebook. He called me on Facebook Messenger, and he said, but we can chat sometime. I said, sure. And then it was like, can I call you? We talked a little bit more on Facebook, and then he asked could he call, and we did, and it was great.
See?
Thank you. Said it was a cute, flirty date night dress. I have a lot of those. But I told you with the girls from out of state, this is my opinion. You probably don't agree with me, and it's okay. But I feel like you should. Mo has this rule where he doesn't like to date people from out of state.
More than 2 hours away.
More than 2 hours away. But I just feel like if true love is there, the possibility, because you don't know if it's true love at first, you don't know. But if there's the possibility and the person is 3 hours or 4 hours or even 5 hours, why would you not try? That's just ridiculous, especially at this age. We know how hard it is to find real love. So as much as I don't like long distance, I do think for the right person that every rule can be, there's flexibility for the right person or a person that has a lot of, great qualities.
Here's what I would say.
Okay.
If I had a job where I was off every weekend, I work 12 days in a row. I'm only off 4, and then I'm off 2. So I'm only have 4 days off the whole month.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. That hinders me from dating here, let alone.
Well, that's even better, because then if the person is long distance, it's not like you would be able to spend a whole lot of time with them anyway. So then when you guys
spend a lot of time at the beginning, so I can vent you out and keep it moving. If it ain't,
well, then talk on the phone and FaceTime, sir.
Yeah, I might want to see. I got 12 days.
I'll check in with you a little while later. I just think that why not, if the person is worth it, why not take a chance? It could be. And what if they know, okay, you tell them, hey, when I first started dating Gun Boss, his work schedule was very unattractive, right? Very unattractive. He worked like 4 a.m. to like 2. It was ridiculous. So, but because, I liked him, we were able to figure out, and then he worked some weekends. We were able to figure out, what to do. I think for the right person, you figure it out. And I think that if if the person is of interest and they have a lot of good qualities, why not have a conversation and try to figure out how you can make it work? But he isn't ready for it. So we're not going to do that. We have a guest that's getting ready to join us in just a bit, but I want to play this clip. I want to play this clip because when I was talking to my girlfriend yesterday, and she was complaining about all the guys that were not, that weren't what she wanted. And I was like, well, just go back in there with a positive attitude and smile. And, I just think that people get overwhelmed when they don't get the answer right away. And I think that to my point that I just made to you, finding someone, you just need one person, and finding that one person is not easy, because the older we get, the more we realize that it's not always easy to find that perfect person for us, or even not perfect, the person that could fit us. So I want to play this clip, and then I want us to talk about it a little bit before our guest joins us. I really like this clip from Instagram.
It's actually completely okay that every man doesn't find you valuable. You need to be concerned with the man that you find valuable and you're choosing, that's also choosing you. Every man out here is not for you. And it's completely okay for him to look at your overall situation and say, I don't want it. It doesn't matter what the you bringing to the table. If that's not what he wanted his table, he has every right and reason to say, I'm good. The same way you can look at a man that got money, that's attractive, that all your homegirls like, girl, you tripping, and you like, nah, I'm okay. Like, I don't want him. Every man don't gotta want you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and unfortunately, we internalize like mass opinion and mass criticism and shit. You're an individual that I assume is seeking to be in relationship with another individual. That's the only you need to worry about. It's only one seat. And most of these dudes, if we talking about real compatibility, doing life together, skill sets, most of these dudes not for you. The same way most of these women not for most of these men. Bro, it's a few people you can really do life with. Just focus on finding him and not on why certain men can't handle you or don't click with you. You worry about that. You ain't gonna have no room for the man that actually with you the way you are.
Amen.
I just would like.
I love that. I love that, because I will say, baby, you are sore. So guys, because Gumbosh just jumped into the chat. Y'all know my husband is always in the chat. Well, not always, because sometimes he doesn't join. But y'all send Gunboss some prayers and some love and some good energy. He had a really bad accident. Could have died. Literally could have died. Monday night, he and my cousin went to watch football at, the spot you guys go to. And he literally, the car flipped over. And when I saw the car, that was our third date. I'm sorry. So Gunboss that was our third date that I shared the picture of you guys. He is texting me as I'm on here, but from downstairs. But I'm going to show you guys the picture just to show you how good God is. Just to show y'all how good God is. And that's my old car. So that is the car, and
we're glad both of them made it safe out of that safely.
Yeah.
Woo.
He's very, very sore. But when I saw the car, I immediately started crying because I just didn't think he was okay. And but he's okay. So okay. So anyway, that happened on Monday. They both are fine. My cousin was standing up talking, and I got there and I was just like, where's Adrian? And I didn't see him, and I just saw the car. So they're both safe, and it's crazy that they could survive that. You guys saw the car was totally totaled and flipped, and I don't even know how they got out. I guess angels were there. But yeah. So anyway, just proving even more so, like, not everybody is made for you to do life with. And I know there's nobody that I could be doing life with but Adrian. Like, I don't know where he had been or what took him so long to find me. And but all that I went through, those people, having girlfriends and buying prostitutes and all that foolishness that I was dealing with, if I wasn't open to just that one. I told my girlfriend, I said, you just need one. You don't need, you're talking about all these guys here. You just need one.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
We talked about this before. Like, a lot of times, like you were saying, like, this is a good catch. You were there with the guys that were all getting their, what was it? What degree? The masters, right?
The masters.
What happens is, I know women that just focus on that. I need a corporate guy. They look over a lot of blue collar men that are good men and have good hearts and will break their backs for these women. But they're not all of them, but a lot of women, or those type of women, are focused on, sometimes you got to broaden your scope a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You think she
I live in Atlanta. It's still a big scope here. It's broad.
why don't you broaden it out a little further?
To another
Sir?
state? I'm not greedy. I'm not greedy. We'll
Why don't
see.
you just broaden it out a little further? I'm just saying, like,
Another mile, 100 miles or two.
but I'm saying, like, just like for me, I will say exactly pot calling the kettle. That's crazy.
No, it's wrong kettle. Wrong kettle.
No, it ain't. No, it's not.
I date short women. I date tall women. I date thin women.
I was like, first of all, wait a minute. There's nothing wrong with short women. We are amazing.
I said I date them. I just don't date one of the, anyway. But I'm just saying, my scope, my broadness is bigger than people think. I just ain't ran across it. But in any case, you're missing the point. Saying, like, I don't judge women by their jobs.
But I'm saying some women, like I have a girlfriend that says she will not date blue collar workers, right? Okay. Just like you won't date anyone that lives 4 hours away. Sometimes your blessing is on the other side of your boundary. I'm gonna drop the mic on that one and just let it go. You
in the mic.
No, seriously. Sometimes your blessing is on the other side of your boundary.
I did wind up I got a Huntsville story. We'll get to that.
Well, go ahead and tell us your dilemma.
Well, it wasn't a dilemma. It was a situation with a young lady who I was supposed to go see in Huntsville, and
you stay trying to go to Huntsville.
No, I just happen to know some people in Huntsville, and but I told you the whole story, but she wanted me to come to like really check it out, to come stay there.
Okay.
She was building a home, and she showed me.
I hope it wasn't Melody. Someone asked, was it Mel?
No, it wasn't. She was building a home and getting a home built, and she showed me the picture, and she was like, I would love to do this with you.
Aww.
And we had
were y'all was that your girlfriend?
No, but I've known her before. She came to Atlanta to visit. It doesn't matter.
I'm saying for her to say she wants to do that with you, now she had to know that that's pretty strong. And those were my words, Druzy. Sometimes your blessing is on the other side of your boundary. Yes. Carry on.
But I did not. And then I was here in Atlanta, it was somebody there just kind of like filling in the gaps, just recreational purposes. And I did not go. I was supposed to go, and we didn't have a set date. We had a set time frame, and then I kind of ghosted her. You
ghosted the Huntsville girl?
Yeah, I felt bad about it too. So what I did was,
he is too comfortable, babe.
I reached out and I called her, and I apologized, not to get back with her, but or to get in her good graces. But I did feel like a piece of stuff.
As you should have.
Because we were supposed to set a date, and I just never followed up with it.
Were you afraid? What were you afraid of, Mo?
No. I mean, I wasn't going. She really wanted me to move to Huntsville, and I wasn't like. She was sending me job applications and all.
Jesus Christ.
Like, they build cars there, and it was something else application. It was Toyota and something else. And
you don't want to move from Atlanta?
No, I'm actually open to it. It's possible.
Now you are open to it.
Well, she was cool, but I just never did it, and I let myself be distracted a little bit. Not even because of her, but something I wasn't supposed to be even slight. I wasn't really distracted. I was in a weird space, and I apologized to her, and I told her, and we kind of left it at that. And she was like, I would have understood if you would have just told me.
Why didn't you tell her? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why didn't you just handle it like telling her what?
I don't know. I don't know. She all right now. I think she moved on. I guess I ain't asking.
I'm sure.
I didn't really care either, but because I didn't do it for that. I was like, let me just tell this woman that I called another person up, and I told them why I ghosted them. And it was like 2 days in a row. I called some people and told them how I ghosted them.
Now, when you say ghosted them, does this mean that they're calling you and you're not picking the phone up?
Bingo.
Gotcha.
And even blocked one.
You blocked her?
And I felt bad for the other one.
Why did you block her?
Because I felt like it. I didn't want to.
You know what? Whoever those ladies are out of state, they probably are.
No. The other one was here. She's here.
No, I'm just saying, Okay.
I was in a weird space, y'all. I was blocking at a block party. I was blocking a lot of people.
He does. You love to block people. He loves to block. He will go on a date and block the girl before the date is over. You blocked the girl one time. You told me you blocked her right then. I was like, you hadn't even pulled out the parking lot.
Yeah, I was in a parking garage. That is right. That's when I think it was darts. I was in the parking garage.
Why are you blocking the person before you've even pulled out to head back home?
Because they made me waste my $200 because they wasn't about nothing. I don't know. I don't know.
Let's get back to the video. So, the video, the guy says, I will admit as a woman, and I think we could take accountability for our own sex. So I will not ask you to take accountability for women, and you will not ask me to take accountability for men. But we both will take accountability for our sex. Can we agree to do that?
Okay.
Because I feel like sometimes I'm taking accountability for the women and you're also shooting darts at the women. So I don't need you to shoot the darts. Okay. Just take accountability for the men. So I think that video was impactful to me when I watched it, because I know how it feels being single. And if something didn't work out, a lot of times I internalized it, right? And the reality is it just wasn't for me. I was telling that same girlfriend the other night, like, imagine if that had worked out with me and that guy that I was talking about earlier. I would not have met Adrian, who is way better. Way better.
That's how you gotta look at it. That perspective.
Like if I put them right next to each other, I won, right? Because I was gonna settle for someone that wasn't really what I physically liked, because they had one quality, but there were a lot of other qualities that I didn't like about it, right? But I wasn't focused on that. And I also feel like sometimes as women, we're so used to only hearing what we want to hear that when a man doesn't tell us that, it makes us feel some kind of way. I saw another post that said, salespeople are some of the most successful people in the world because they understand how to deal with rejection. They get told no thousands of times and it doesn't affect them. They don't internalize it. So I hope that if you're watching this and that's something that you're struggling with, you will go back and watch that video again, because what he said is so true for us women. If a man isn't giving you the energy or the attention that you want, that has nothing to do. That's none of your. Keep it moving and do it in real time. Like, I wish I hadn't wasted as much time as I did. I done went on a trip. I did too much with that person that wasn't giving me reciprocation back, right, after a certain time. And I do know that it can be difficult sometimes, because when a man starts to pursue you in a certain way, it feels good. But consistency is more important than the initial approach, right? And sometimes we get so caught up in the initial, interaction that we don't pay attention to the consistency. His initial, approach was golden, but he was not consistent. And because I really liked the initial approach, I held on to it, and I should have been paying attention to the consistency. And so I think, and then also you cannot fear that there's not somebody out there for you. It is, as Edna just said, there's so many men in the world, but all of those men are not for you. And so it's okay if one doesn't like you. God knows there's most men that women don't like. Like, I would have no problem with my friends like, oh, he wants to talk to you. No, I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him. But then if somebody wasn't necessarily feeling me, it's like, oh, what's wrong with me? Well, nothing. It's just, men have feelings too, and they have a right to say that's not a good fit for them, right? So I think that we have to understand that and not allow that, not internalize that, and not carry that around with us, and know that you are valuable. And just because someone isn't giving you that doesn't mean that that's not true. Now, on the other hand, that doesn't mean that you don't have to fix some of your ish. You know, you still have to do the things that make you a better version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we're getting ready to start talking about like what makes a woman wife material. If you're not, whatever you feel like that is, it's probably based on what you want to attract. Like I know the type of man that I want. So I need to make sure that I would be a woman that he would want to be married to. Or it's kind of crazy to assume that every man should consider you a queen if you're not showing up that way.
Christal, you dropping all kind of, man.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't get very many of those, so thank you. Thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So what about you? What it could do? Because I think men kind of understand that every woman is not for them.
Yeah, I mean, and women often say that, you know, men are used to rejection. You know, whether we're playing sports, we're all trying out for whatever team, basketball, football, baseball, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All of us are not going to get picked. All of us are not going to go to the pros. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we kind of like, with that mentality, sports teaches us this. So we're kind of conditioned to understand that it's not always going to go in our favor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of thing. I think that, you know, some guys play the numbers game and they know I'm going to go out and holler. Somebody's going to say yes. Or if I get one out of hollering at 20, or you know what, I'll wait until the lights are about to come on. Club closes at 3 a.m. It's 2:55. You know, refer to it as the stragglers. You know,
but does he really want the stragglers?
Huh?
Does he really want the stragglers?
No, but it's like you might have seen something and you ain't seen nobody holler at her, and she's sitting up there looking lonely and don't nobody, you know, you might be in your car and you catching them and they doing the little walk back to the car with their friends, the I ain't get hollered at walk. and then dudes reach out because some dudes go out with that mission. Like, you
like
know,
LG Cam said, like Denzel said, I'm leaving here with something.
Right.
I'm from around the way.
I have a friend that refers to it as, or you really try to take something home. They call it take home, or guys, please don't forget. I don't even know if I should say this. I just know when men are out of town, you really become on a mission. Because you don't live here, you don't know them. So
but I'm asking, we understood that sounds like some pickup stuff, but I'm asking like when it comes to like when a man is in a place that he really wants companionship.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So I understand that you guys want to fulfill the physical needs, but I'm asking like, how do men ever feel discouraged? And let me ask you this, because I feel like sometimes, and I'm going based on guy friends conversations. Some of them, I had a guy friend that he didn't have much money, and the girl that he wanted required much money, a lot more money. And so he said, I've got to get my money up so I could get that girl. And I was like, that's probably a bad idea. But I do know a lot of men that pick the woman that they want based on the woman's looks. And a lot of times they want to get enough money to get that woman. Right. Do you think that that's the right way to approach it?
Absolutely not. Because what it is that then somebody with bigger money can come and take her from you.
And will.
And to me, that's all that means. When they're after that, it's at that point, it's just all about the bigger bank, you know. And I've heard I heard a rapper say, the women that was around was like, how come you don't never take me nowhere? And he's like, because I know you. I bring you around all these NBA players or whatever, you're going to be doing something. You see what I'm saying? Because I know why you're here for me. So I'm not going to bring you around bigger money.
But why would you want a girl like that?
You don't want a girl like that. You got to find out if the guy is still in that entertainment, recreational phase. You know, some
that
guys do.
That may be the bigger question. Kim said earlier, she said, Christal, do you think that the reason that we feel like that you think like this is because you're married? I don't think so. Because I was telling the young lady, I changed my way of thinking prior to getting married. You guys know I went on Iyanla, and that was some of the things we talked about. My perspective and my attitude had to change. And I changed that even before I went on Iyanla. I had started on this journey of just being more positive and speaking only positive when it came to relationships. Because for a long time I didn't, right? And I felt like these guys out here, they're not this, they're not that. And then I started realizing, well, the way I approach my career has always been that no matter what the statistics say, I'm going to be successful, right? When I first moved here to Atlanta, a lot of people told me that I would not be successful because I didn't attend the HBCU. And Atlanta has a very close-knit HBCU family, right? The client that I was talking about that had the NBA party, she attended FAMU. So there's a huge AUC center connection. Black colleges are very big here. I went to a PWI. So they were like, you're not going to be able to network. And I just was like, are you kidding me? Like I'm going to figure it out. That's not going to stop me. I never even considered that. But when someone told me, well, it's 18 to 1 per woman for 18 women to every one man, that scared me because that, at that time, that wasn't where I was confident. I was more confident when it came to my career. So I realized I had to take the same energy and the same outlook and perspective that I used for my career, and I had to apply that to the way I was dating. And that way, even me being a single mom, I was like, my kids aren't going to be statistics. My kids are going to go to college. They're going to be successful. Me being a single mom is not going to affect my son being successful. And it didn't. I just didn't even allow that to penetrate. So I had to do the same thing. So when they were like, oh, I had a guy tell me one time there was 29 girls. I don't know where he found that statistic from, but he told me there were 29 girls to every one of him. And I remember telling him to run along because he did not want to miss the other 28. It didn't bother me at all. But early on,
that ratio thing, it's not like they're 20. Even if that was the case, it's just a number. It doesn't mean that, number one, that they're all for you.
It can be discouraging as a woman to hear.
I get it, and that's why I want to encourage them to think past the numbers. When you start to add good women, and we're going to get into the wife material because I think we're asking, wife material, and we're getting that. Ask a man. Why I would never ask get advice from a man about looking for a woman. Number one, unless he has a good woman or wife that he respects, or I'm asking the people that live it, just ask me asking a dude, I'm looking, I know what it is out here. And I think guys recognize, we know, but we don't always act on it. And a lot of times we know we're not ready. And a good woman is scared man that's not ready. And part of what scares them, two things. Part of what scares him is that he's just simply not ready. He can't hold on to it. And that a real man gonna come along that is ready and can take it. That's the scariest part, is you got to be ready enough to hold on to it, because she only gonna put up with so much.
But why do you need her to put up with a lot?
No, it's not even a lot. Life, like y'all say, life be lifing. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
but it seems like y'all go into it knowing I'm about to put her through a lot.
No. If we just got finished saying, if you're not ready, your pockets might not be ready, but she might like you and be willing to work with you for a minute. That's what I mean.
Jesus Christ. Well, we got a guest. We're going to bring our guest on. This is a good friend of both of ours. I have known Jamal for almost 30 years at this point, probably 25, 26. And Jamal is going to be joining us. Let me bring him on. Give a hand clap for Jamal. Already laughing. Already laughing, Jamal.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, welcome.
What up?
So tonight, we are talking about what makes a woman wife material. But before we get into that, Jamal, you have to give us a dating disaster or a dating dilemma.
A
And you're not
that's how we
gonna bypass it. So just settle in.
a dating disaster.
Or dilemma.
A dilemma. What's considered a dilemma?
Like if you didn't know what was going on with the girl and you were interested and not sure what it's something you had to think about. Like
Okay.
But
Okay.
I would love to get a dating disaster.
You're like I don't think so. So what's very interesting. I don't think I've had a disaster. She may have thought it was a disaster. No, you know what? You know what? Oh, I do remember a moment. I do. I think this is. I probably have two. I probably have two. Right. One of them I shouldn't have never. I shouldn't even went on. That was on me. I was wrong, and I was wrong in that she was. Our personalities just wasn't even there. But you know me, I try something. You know.
What was it about? Give us some details now, Jamal. We need to break this down. What was it that you? What were the signs that you saw beforehand that said I shouldn't probably go?
She was a little sedity. In my opinion, just in conversation, like not necessarily. Put it like this: I could feel a air about somebody, but I was still being open as like, you know what I'm saying? Let me check this. Let me check this person out. And I think my hip hop music self during that time was probably too much for her. I am a person where I love music. For those who don't know, or nobody knows me on here, but yeah, I am very into my music. So for me, like, let's say we're in the car. The car is like my sanctuary. I don't really like a bunch of conversation in the car. Like I need it's either silence or music. You know, like we'll talk.
Okay, girl, if you go pick a girl up for a date, you don't want her to talk.
Well, I mean, if we listen, so for me, if we're going to talk, then we don't need the music on. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need the music, and that's a lot of noise going on. So it's like we need to have one or the other. You know what I'm saying? I would prefer to just vibe out, and then talk wherever we get to. I know that's probably strange for folks, but it's just like feel the vibes of the music. You know what I'm saying? Let's do that. Unless yeah, like that's it. That's what I like. So I think some of my at that time, she probably wasn't feeling some of my, like, if I'm in the music, we in the music, like, and that's why I hope if I'm playing something that you like or that I like, that we vibe into the music together. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that moment to figure out what you like, what are you into. So sometimes, have you ever met somebody and they don't know certain songs or whatever? You like, how do you not know this song? So you already, well, at least for me, that's already like a disconnect. Like we can't, there's no vibe, So, but that's minor. But the one I really want to talk about, I don't even want to get into nothing. I don't even want to get into nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Like that was just a bad vibe. Now this right here, I was out with a young lady, and we kicked it before. You know what I'm saying? And I love to go bowling, and so we were out bowling. And I'm a friendly person. Like I like to treat people with with care. Like any servers, if we go out restaurants, you know what I'm saying, if it's the waitress, hey, how you doing? A part of that is just me as a friendly person. But
flirty?
Huh?
Are you flirty? Could it be considered flirty?
Considered. There you go. Considered. Considered. So check this out. So I could already boom, bowling or whatever. The young lady comes and asks, what's our order? So the young lady I'm with, she's a special type of one. Like she can be a little abrasive at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like, I try to set the tone of like, nah, like everything is good. Like treat people nice. You know what I'm saying? If the person is taking, if the wait service is taking too long, then let's be understanding of it might be busy. It might, we don't have to throw these attitudes out there. So I'm here to keep it real chill and mellow. And so, I feel like at the time, like if somebody says to me like, hey, how you doing? I'm gonna say, how you doing? I'm gonna actually ask an extra question. How's your day been today? For how many tables you got? You know what I'm saying? Just kind of get the vibe. I like to just break that up for folks or whatever. And so I could sense as I'm having this conversation, it wasn't nothing too deep. It was real surface level. You know what I'm saying? I can just kind of sense the energy to my right, like shifting. So I could feel it. So I backed off. You know, I was like, okay, she probably feel a type of way. You know what I'm saying? So I noticed it. So it's just like, but I wasn't going to address it. It wasn't the time to address it. Right. And so then little bit later on, as we're about to wrap up the bowling or whatever, she finally, and I say, you know, probably after a couple of drinks in, she gets the courage and says to me, and you all up in her face and talking to her. And I was like, oh, is that what we doing? All I could do was laugh because number one, I don't do loud. I don't do any of that. Like all the antics, and I don't do arguments at all. Like argue with me, it's a shutdown for me. I don't do any back and forth. We need to talk like adults and in tone. So number one, I'm shocked because I've never had a situation like this happen before. You know what I'm saying? And so she's going, I'm like, okay, it's time for us to go. You know, it's time to go ahead and wrap this up. So in the wrap up, you know, we're leaving. She's still going off. I've never experienced, this is wild to me because I've never experienced such a thing. You know what I'm saying? All the way to the point where we get to the car and I let her in. I still open the door for her. You know what I'm saying? She's still going off. I walk around and get in on my side. She slams my door. And I'm like, And so then she was like, you know what? I'm gonna just walk. And so she just hops out the car. Like, cause like I said, she just going, I'm not giving a whole bunch of rhythm. I'm not even paying any attention. Like she's going off questioning me about me being disrespectful all in this girl's face and talking to her and all that. And so I had to make a decision then when she got out the car, because I've never experienced anything like this. I said, do I let her walk? Or do I
How far was
we were still in the parking lot. We were still in the parking lot. Like we hadn't drove off. I haven't drove. Oh, so she's probably had to be, I mean, at least 5 to 10 miles from her crib. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what she was thinking or whatever. And so I had to sit there. Like I said, I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like, and I don't even use like language like that. You know what I'm saying? But I was so shocked at what was happening. I was like, yo, like, are you serious? Right now, like you done slam my door. Now you are causing a scene. So the natural self in me in that moment, I drove off. I did. But Mo, I didn't keep going. I turned back around and I proceeded to allow her, you know, or I asked her to get back in the car, not cause a scene, and I politely took her home.
She wanted a reaction.
She wanted to react, but I didn't give her. So check this out. And so for me, like I said, I was so shocked in the situation. And I'm one of those people who like to, and I probably should have just deaded it right then. But if there's a real problem, I like to talk it out or figure it out. I hadn't experienced anything like this, so I was still like, and I just don't like confrontation. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like confrontation at all. And so in the ride to her, me dropping her off, it was quiet the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Of course. But I still kept the door open once we got there. It's like, yo, if there's a bigger issue we need to talk about, like I had already made the decision that's going to be the last thing, but we had kicked it, you know what I'm saying? Like multiple times. So for me, it wasn't I don't know. I'm not a just cut you off type of person. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to hear like, yo, let's talk this through, why you feel this way or why you think this, and then we can go our separate ways from there. But to have this type of mean energy or whatever, I'm not with that. So that was a disaster because first off, you slammed the door, you hopped out the car, and then but then you caused the scene inside the bowling alley. That was like I said, I was like, oh man, like we ain't even together. Like I was like, oh shoot, like this is wild. Like this is what you gonna do. Like I was like, oh, this is weird. Like nah.
Did the waitress pick up on the fact that she was mad at you because you were talking to her?
I don't think the waitress was paying any attention at anything at all. Like, first off, it was my whole beef was, I guess my whole beef was like, yo, this was a younger person. Like, this wasn't even anybody. This is just like, I didn't say anything flirty outside of how your day been. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I see it's busy. It's just breaking the ice. It wasn't. She was like, "Oh, you was just staring at her." No, I was. Like, it was very accusatory. It was to me. It really felt like what's the word? Insecure. It came off very, very insecure. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, it came off very insecure, and that made me very uncomfortable.
When you did talk to her, when she got in the car, if you came back,
yeah, she went in. I can tell. Yeah, once she comes, she just told me she don't like the fact that I talk to everybody like that. And I well, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's who I am, and so that's not gonna stop. Like that's not. It wasn't no hey baby. It wasn't anything. Like, I know flirt. Like, I know when I'm in my bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been there. I've done. And I know that. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't crazy. Like, I know better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But she just flat out told me, she's like, I'm too friendly. I talk to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I talk to people everywhere. I was like, oh, well, that's a part of me. So since that's a part of me, then that's not changing. Like, so that's gonna be a no.
Wow. So that goes back to what we said earlier. Everything is not for everybody, right? So
for sure,
she definitely needs a less social person than you are.
Yeah.
You triggered her, Jamal.
I know. I definitely and it tripped me. But I did feel that because I hadn't experienced it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so of course it made me double back and look and yes, like, to check my behavior. But then it was like, yo, like, was I out of pocket? Like, just really going into, like, really having a recount of things that's happening. I'm always gonna say, what could I have done different? But if you see, and that was the thing. I think the energy for me is because, like I said in the beginning, the waitress, she wasn't the best waitress at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was busy. She was younger, but for me, it's like, I'm always trying to put myself in the other person's shoes when we're in positions like that. And it's like, I don't like to turn up on. I'd rather give you grace in these type of spaces and just. I mean, you bringing my drinks and food. I don't know what you go do. You know what I'm saying? We don't need no attitudes. We don't need no attitudes.
That is interesting. Mo, have you had a situation where a girl went off on you like that in public? I've seen it happen to people and thought, "Woo, yikes!"
No, that never happened to me. I don't deal with women like that. I don't think I even attract them. No. I do.
Time for everything. Maybe she's on the way. Maybe she's on.
Don't put that on me. Don't put that mojo on me.
I'm just saying, most guys have one or two stories of
not in my crib, but not in the public stuff like here. I will walk away. I'll shut that. I ignore you. I act like I didn't hear you. I walk outside. I did that. Now I did it on somebody.
Mo is problematic. Jamal, he blocked a girl on the date.
Oh no, I'm not doing that.
The date. We didn't argue during the date. It was just whack. I ain't want to, it was all good. I told her, and I just blocked her in the parking garage.
But what? And then she noticed it. What if you went on a date with somebody and then you noticed that they blocked you right when you left the date? Like,
that's crazy.
That is wild. That is wild. Well, let's get into tonight's conversation because we're already an hour and 13 minutes in. Tonight's conversation is what makes wife material. And so I said, I'm going to defer to the gentleman because Jamal, I made a post. I did my pop culture power conversation and I made a statement that I felt like Kurt did a bigger injustice by cheating on his wife. Right. And because he and Rashida have been married for like 25 years and people were like, oh, what about Peter Guns and what about Stevie J? And I was like, well, Stevie J cheating on Mimi and Jocelyn is not the same as Kurt cheating on Rashida because Rashida is a wife and Mimi went and did a porn in her 40s having a daughter. So that simply says you're probably not wife material. Jocelyn was never trying to be wife material. So I just think and someone said to me, well, that doesn't mean that Mimi is not wife material because she made a porn. And I want to say, I do know a girl that did porn in her early 20s and maybe early 30s, and then she stopped. She changed her life, and now she's not. And I'm not saying that if you've done porn that you're not a wife material. What I'm saying is when you choose in your 40s to make a porn for money and attention, and you have a daughter, to me, I thought that some men may assume, the majority of men would think that that makes you not wife material, but I could be wrong. So I'm here to listen and learn. We'll start with you, Jamal. What qualities do you think for you? We're just talking about for you, make a woman make you consider her to be wife material?
Character. It's gonna start with character, spirituality, how you treat people, family, how you treat yourself, and your heart. I think it's mainly your heart, like because when I think of, even so, we have this thing of marriage, wifey material, marriage, all of that. I think you have to have a level of being able to compromise. So that would be like kind of the basis foundation for me. It's going to be spirituality and your character.
Okay. And what types of things do you want to see from her character?
Loving, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, like that's very, like, and how, like I said, back to how you treat people and how you treat your family, like your relationship with your family. That's going to be very important because of the relationship with my family is important. So that would be important. And when I say character and having the ability to compromise, like, are you trustworthy, and are you supportive? Are you support is very important. So yeah.
Mo, what about you? What do you consider wife material? What makes a woman? What would make you consider her wife material?
I like a lot of what he said. I want to also add, for me, like, it's not so much of what it is, but I also pay attention to what's not in front of my face.
Okay.
When I'm watching from afar, you know what I mean? I've seen people who are married and the spouse dies, the husband dies, right? Mm-hmm. And I see, or the husband is sick and is on his way out, right? And how that woman is nurturing and caring, and that's extremely important to know, because you don't just see that then. There's stuff leading up to that where you can see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to make sure my husband, or did you go to your doctor's appointment? You have you know what I mean? That's at the end of the day, if you have 6 kids and all 6 kids leave the house, it's going to be you and her there.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have 6?
Whatever it is, you know what I mean? But it's at the end of the day, it's going to come back to you and her.
Yeah.
So how you interact, how she treats me, how she respects me, and what I give to her, and that family stuff is very, very important to me, because we're watching. You know, like he said, how you interact with your family. But most important, you know, I have a daughter, right?
Uh-huh.
See her Saturday. But if I don't mind, if I could see my daughter being like you, and I could respect that, then I'll be like, yeah, if I don't mind my daughter being like you, like, that means probably more to me than all of it. You know, if I could see that in you, and I'd be like, damn, I wouldn't mind my daughter being like her outside the bedroom.
Oh yeah, because that's where everything has to change, of course.
Yeah. Just want to make that.
Man,
you know, but that's extremely, and that didn't come to me until I had a daughter. I didn't really get it then. But then you were like, yo, even if I'm bringing her around now, it's even to the point, if I introduce you to her, I gotta see enough to where it ain't crazy. it ain't looking crazy. So that's extremely important. That's probably the most important to me. And then we can scale down from there, and just how you treat me, how you carry yourself. But even that is from afar. Like when I'm not there, or when you're not paying attention to me. You know what I mean? How you carry yourself.
Yeah.
Not even with me, but how you move and move.
So let's give people examples, because I feel like when like I said, well, I thought I like the way Rashida carries herself. Now, I've known or worked with Rashida years ago. So I've seen her, I've watched her. We've seen her on a reality show, right? She's on a reality show called Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Almost every other woman besides, I would say probably Yandy, has had a fight, has cussed somebody out, has thrown a bottle, has jumped on a table. Rashida has always carried herself like a lady to me. That's just what I've seen. So that's what I was talking about when I was like, the way she carries herself.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you guys, when a man says, I like how she carries herself, what are you referring to? We'll start back with Jamal. What do you mean when you say how she carries herself?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I was thinking on this topic like for the last couple of hours, and I do want to highlight and say it is going to be different per man and the type of man, because it's because all that yelling and fighting and doing all that stuff, it's some toxic men that like that type of activity. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that is we may look at it like, sometimes you be out places and be like, I would never want to participate, but if that may work for them. And so Mo is hitting it right on the nail of the how you act if I'm not around. It's just being mindful. I like if it's time to get active, then you have that in you, but that's not who you show. That's just a part of you almost have to be pushed to that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just I would like to say, and I don't want to be disrespectful, like a decent human. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, like what I would consider an upstander, like it's just certain things. I guess it's to the point where like, what would your parents say if they seen you out acting like this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you, that? I mean, that's
some parents.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, but it is how you carry yourself, and I think in some of that, I guess as I'm thinking about it, it's probably going to be people who are similar to you. Like, remember, like that would mirror how you would, because you don't want to be embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, some people aren't embarrassed by certain situations or things that don't bother them. So.
So Edna said, "What about is you being able to trust her? Is that important as well?"
I feel like that's character. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I guess there's certain things for me that's like the obvious. Yes, trust is a very important to me. Like that's number one. And I go back and forth with the honesty and the trust, because those are like that's a whole thing itself. But I think trust is right there. That's like basic.
Respect
Like, is major.
Like that is man, like, and this is one another. Like, even when we were just talking about like how you carry yourself, that's us. That's not just you. If we're together, you see what I'm saying? That's how people are viewing us. Cause then it's like, how you with this crazy? You know what I mean? When we move, and we used to always talk about that, Crystals. Like, you wouldn't want anyone to, how she defends me, or wouldn't let someone disrespect me, or there, like your presence, it still has to be, all those levels still have to be there in my absence if I'm not there, opposed to, I've seen people, their spouse is not there, they act one way, then the spouse comes in the room, and I never want to switch up like that. I don't want to be that way. You're a different person, and when you come along, I told you what's about to happen. I'm attending something next month, and I know people are gonna be bringing their spouses. I'm just curious to see because I know how they act at work. And there's a lot of flirtatious energy. Like I don't want to be like that, and I want to feel secure. Like if I'm seeing someone, especially if it's my wife, like she's carrying herself in a respectable manner because she's not only representing herself, she's representing us. Because the first God, that's how men judge each other a lot of times, based on how the woman acts.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting that men judge each other. Let me ask you this. Now, this is just an honest question. There's a young lady on Instagram and YouTube that I like a lot because she basically women come on the show and she'll tell them on her show and she'll tell them what they need to do to attract them a husband, right? And from what they look like, just like wear a little makeup, fix your hair this way, do this, do that. And also like with children and things like that. So I'm wondering, I was having a conversation with my cousin earlier. Is there a limit? And we can just be honest. This is for you all personally. Is there a limit? You meet a woman and she has 5 kids. She has 4. Like, where are you at? Because you, Jamal, you don't have any children.
I don't have any.
And Mo has 2. So where are you at realistically? Because a lot of times we want to say, well, it really doesn't matter about that. It really matters. No, it does. Because it
definitely matters.
As a man, if you marry a woman, you are responsible for taking care of the children that are underage. And then when they even become of age, children never go away. They just, their needs become different. So what is your cutoff when it comes to children and responsibilities?
Man, that's tough. I may probably 3. 3 would be 3 because because this is my assumption at this age, at this big old age, as they say, is that you might have been married. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, if you've been married 15, 20 years, you might have had, you know what I'm saying? And I would like to give a openness of you might have been in a couple of relationships at this point. But outside of that, for me, that's a high max for me. I would like to keep it to 1 to 0. But 3 would, and 3, hopefully 3 after 1 relationship. But if it's 2, not 3 and 3, and nothing wrong with it, but that would be too much for me.
Okay.
That would be too much.
Mo, where are you at?
At this age, it's 3. My only cancellation of the 3 is if it's by 3 different baby daddies. I'm not doing that. I give you 2, but 3, and then you gotta understand, like, and it depends on their ages at this time. My kids are grown, 21 and 26. You see what I'm saying? So if you got 3 under the age of 15, you know what I'm saying? I'm resetting. Hey, you know what I mean? But 3, but definitely not by 3 different baby daddies. I'm not doing that. That says a lot. I'm not doing that.
Jamal, they're asking you, do you want children?
Some days it's cool. Some days not. I like my freedom. I like my time. I think so. And I'm trying not to live in this life of fear, but raising kids, and I love kids. Like kids are they are beautiful, but I'm scared at this point. Like it's crazy out here for real. Like, and then I have to be realistic about like the time, because I think, a friend of mine, we were just talking about this a couple of days ago, and it kind of sucks right now because I'm going to overthink things. Like, so like kids for me, it's not like a science project. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a real, you are responsible for a human for the rest of your life. And so with that is actually choosing the right mate. So for me to get to know someone, how long that take, not saying that it's going to be this, I'm gonna take my time with it. So it's like I'm open, but I will say that window is getting smaller and smaller as the days go. So I think I will be. I'm learning to start to be okay. I'm starting to be okay with it. I still think, and I don't want to rule it out. Like, so it's not a no, but it's definitely not a rush because I really value and cherish that, that what that union looks like. And like I said, but to have to get to know someone on that level, to procreate,
yeah.
I'm glad you're thinking about it like that, because a lot of us, especially in my generation, we didn't get that information. So I'm glad you got that information, study the and like dig into that, and that's part of your thought process. I like it.
I'm seeing the comments. They said just say no. No, but it's not a no. Like, I don't want to like.
Put that on.
It's because it's not a no. I'm not real. Like I said, because you never say never, because it's not a no. I mean, I'm very real when I say that window is close. It's not as 50-50 as it was 3, 4, 5 years ago. Like, I'm being mindful of a lot of situations and things, but it's not a total no. But I'm just learning that it may not happen. So it's like, not to be disappointed 5, 10 years from now. So, but it's not a total no. It's not a total no.
Let me ask you this, Jamal. How hard would it be, and you too, how hard would it be for you to, going from being a single man without any responsibilities, to meet a woman that had 3 children? I have 2 children, and 2 is a lot. So I would just say, from my perspective, 2 is a whole lot. So 3 is even more. So how do you think it would be for you to be with a woman that had 3 children that you are now all of a sudden responsible for? Do you think that's something that you could take on?
So check it out though. Now, yeah, I think it comes with some guidelines, or some because my assumption, to Mo's point, my assumption is that if she has 3, that probably two of those are probably, if they're not like adults, like 20 or 20, with like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I probably couldn't do like 3 between the ages of something and 10 and 12, 13. That's gonna be a no for me. I could just tell you that right now. That's gonna be a no. Like if they like almost adults, like I could probably help raise 1, but raising the 3, now I'm not trying to raise 3, because I'm not gonna lie. Then I'm gonna feel a type of way, because now I'm like, well, I'm gonna be ready for this 4th. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta, because I'm gonna need 1. Like, if you got 3, I gotta get 1 out to you.
You want to have 1?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you got the 3 and we really vibing like that, and you got 3 little ones, and I'm taking, like, I'm probably gonna feel a type of way after year 2. Like, dang, I'm really taking care of somebody else's kids. I mean, I love her, and hopefully the man is still helping out too. But it's like, yes, it's time for me to have my own seed. Go ahead, Mo.
No, I like that. I'm glad you said that. That plays a big part. They don't even look at that part.
What? Tell me, say it again, Mo.
Fathers are active in that life, because in some states, if you marry that woman and those kids are real young, you gotta understand, these women are smart. Some of them ain't really looking for a man; they're looking for help.
Here we go.
Oh God.
Trying to be quiet and not say much, but here we go. So Mo, how do you feel about that? Because you, even though you have 2 children, for the most part, you weren't in the home. Do you think it would be difficult for you to be in the home?
Nah, actually, I would enjoy it if there's 1 still left in the home out the 3. Now, all 3 of them can't be at the crib. I'm not doing that. Sorry. If you got 1 in junior high, I can wait them 5, 6 years out. But if all 3 are in school, that's a hard no.
But I think, can I say this? Can I say this? I feel like women should understand this, because I see online, none of my personal inner circle, my inner circle. I think, the older you get, you find people that are like you. Right. So my inner circle, there's not a lot of people with a lot of children. Like, my friends have none, like a lot, just, I don't have friends that have like 5 kids. I don't even know how I could be a good friend to someone that's like, I'd be like, girl, whoo, I can't call you. I don't know what to tell you. But so I don't know that. But I look online and I see that there's a lot of young women that are having 1, 2, 3, 4 babies. And I'm wondering, is anyone telling these women it's going to be very difficult? Because they're like, well, I need to find a good man. I got 4 kids. And I'm like, whew, how is she going to find a good man with 4 children? And I just think that women need to be aware of that. I'm not saying that, I'm definitely not suggesting that you need to get rid of children that you have. You
Yes,
get pregnant,
we're not promoting that.
not promoting abortion at all. But what I am saying is that you need to be mindful that kids are not just, that is a responsibility, not just from 1 to 18, but for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so you need to be aware of that. And then you also need to understand that for a man to come in, and we know that we've all seen Claudine, those are those movies where a man comes in and he's fine taking on you and your 4 kids.
He was a trash man, by the way.
The reality of that is there's not a lot of James Earl Jones running around. Not a lot of men want to do that. So I think you have to understand before you go birthing a bunch of babies, not married to the father.
Yeah.
What that reality could look like, for you. And I think we don't see women, we don't say that. I don't hear that being said, except, on some, platforms that are considered extreme. But the reality is, a man can get a woman pregnant, and there's men running around with 5 and 6 kids, but he's still single. He don't have anybody at the house that he has to take care of. The woman is sitting there, and I can't imagine as a man, going by a woman's house and seeing that, there's a lot of need. There's a lot of need there. There's a lot of need. And I just think we need to be explaining to women that, what you have, as old people would say, mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Mama got to take care of the baby. So it may be difficult for you to find your true love because he may not want to take on 4 mouths to feed in addition to you.
You know what's interesting to that, because I think the same applies for men, right? Like I like the dudes that's out here with 3, 4 different baby mamas and kids all over the place. I think we have to talk to them about just spreading themselves like that. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why. And when I say holding men accountable on that, I feel like a lot of times men get passes. They can do it, and then they can still end up with a woman that will allow them to have these 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? And that, which is, I won't understand. But I make sure I try to talk to if it's any of the little homies or my cousins or anything like that. It's like, yo, you can't just be out here popping around procreating with everybody, because you're going to have to nourish where you go be. You know what I'm saying? And that's expensive. Like what are we doing?
Emotionally, it takes a lot to do. And I think I do believe that a lot of times women think of marriage and as they don't think of it in terms of responsibility. So when a man thinks, okay, if I marry her, I'm taking on the responsibility for her, where the woman is pretty much just like, I want to get married, I want to have a big wedding, I want to look pretty in a dress. And I think sometimes we don't think about it. I know I didn't think about it in long. Now, second time around, yes. First time around, I just wanted to get married, and and I meant well, but I didn't think about all the things and all the responsibilities that come from that. And I hear a lot of women saying on social media, I need to find a good man. I got this amount of kids. And I'm just like, girl, it's hard to find a good man to take care of you. What are you expecting him to do? How far is that going to stretch? Like Mo said, being funny with the Claudine, but that was like an old school movie that a lot of people thought was like a love story. But that man was a garbage man. That chick ain't spreading very far. And so you may not be able to, sometimes what we are prohibits us from getting what we want.
That part. And just know, there's different laws in different states. You might not be, as the woman might not be thinking of it, and maybe she might know, but just to tell the young men, there's different. Once you marry, those are your kids, child support and all. If you divorce her, a lot of people don't know that. If she wasn't married to them, their fathers, but was married to you, and they're young, those are your kids.
Those are your kids.
In this state, it varies from state to state. So you have to be careful and do the knowledge on, what comes with everything. Move, whether it's wedding, whether it's marriage, whether it's kids, whether it's all these different things. Like
let's also talk about, like, Jamal mentioned that he would want someone that looked at family the way he did. There's differences in families, right?
I know that,
there's a lot of people that have a different definition of what makes family. So I've heard a lot of men. I have a friend that his mother had cancer. And he got married to this woman that he was just head over heels for. She did not like the fact that he would go spend so much time with his mom. And she actually ended up saying, well, you can't make time for me. All you do is run back and forth to the assisted living home. And she moved out of the bedroom because she was angry with him because he spent so much time with his mom. Now, his mother actually, had cancer and she passed away. But the fact that this woman didn't understand that, it's like, and I wonder sometime, are we taking the time to have conversations? Because wife and husband, that means that when that person is going through family issues, like parents getting ill or needing to find, then you have to be there and you have to do it in the same way that you would do it. Absolutely. But for her mom didn't, she didn't have that type of relationship with her mom. So I wonder, like, for men, do you all think, and I'm just asking you for your personal opinion, because we know you guys don't speak for all men, but tonight you may kind of represent the totality of men. But is that something that you're thinking about? Like, how will we interact if she has a sister or a brother that needs help? How are we looking at taking care of parents, when that time comes? Are these things that you're thinking about? Because marriage really is inclusive of all of that.
I definitely am. And I would love a situation, because I didn't really get a chance to do it with my parents. So whereas though I'm looking out for a mother-in-law, father-in-law, whatever the situation may be, you know what I'm saying? Because once you get older and God forbid you lose and you never really had the chance, whether you financially couldn't do it or you were away or whatever the case may be like, yo, everybody really, I understand what it is now. And if I could do it, and maybe it's a chance to do it again, but just really cherish the people and cherish family. Like, take care of these people, man. Like, these are the people that took care of you, or these are the people that took care of the woman you loved. And they're part of the reason why she is the way she is. You know what I mean? And just to, I think as I got older, I thought about it. I'm like, or once, my mother passed, father, these kind of situations, you'd be like, yeah, if I could do it all over again, I would tell them this, I would do this. So if I have a mother-in-law and father-in-law, these are the things I'm gonna spend time with them, because these are the things I wish I could have did more or had another chance to do, or even do longer with my parents. So yes, absolutely.
It's interesting because it can be a slippery slope, right? So it can be a situation where let's say I'm with a woman, and if she may view my family is draining or taking away, you know what I'm saying? So I think, man, communication is so key when it comes to that, and I think that's why it's important to try to integrate families, or when you're dating and introducing, so people can understand the dynamics. But sometimes is that you may not, like, let's just, like I said, say for instance, if I'm dating a woman and she has a younger brother and she's always looked out for her brother, and I might be on the side, I might have a moment, be like, well, he need to be a man, he need to do that. I may not know, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it'll get to that point, like, why are you always doing this? But I feel like in the moments, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have to be able to communicate or articulate to understand a situation, understand, like, if you're enabling people, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, what's supposed to happen in your union is supposed to be that part that's sacred, right? That's who's supposed to come first.
Right.
Right. And so like I said, it could be a slippery slope, because I've seen situations where, like I said, the other side's family is actually pulling and it's enabling, because this person is constantly giving. And I think that's one instance that could be a little extreme, as opposed to somebody just being like, it's like, hey, I have to go see my mother, she's ill, I'm gonna go take her, and they be like, well, the kids got a game, which one you go to, or I got a birthday. It's like, that's ridiculous, you know what I'm saying, type of deal. But there's people who are petty like that if the two don't get along, you know what I'm saying. like that could be a
few guys like that. I know a few guys. I know a few guys like that. The guy was just talking about, and there was another guy, his mom had to move in with them, and the wife actually moved out. She was like, you move your mother in, I'm moving out. And someone said earlier, like that their mom could be draining. I think it was Nola. That's just part of the process, right? So I think how you view that. But I want to touch on something that you mentioned, Jamal, because certain people feel differently about this. I'm gonna start with Mo. Do you feel, if you got married, that, and I know your mom is no longer here, and maybe the people that you considered guardians, are not readily around, but some people believe the wife comes first, other people believe that their mama comes first, right? That, especially with Black men, it's like, yes, my mama, and it's like, this is your wife. So how do you see the dynamic of family, even like children, if your daughter, because we know your daughter is very near and dear to your heart, if there was an issue between your new wife and your daughter, where are you placing the priority, in that situation?
That's Mo, I gotta hear this.
Depending on how far down the line we are, you can't be coming in new all willy-nilly. No, this is like, it depends on your relationship. Like if it's years in, it's an incident that happens, that's something I have to see what that incident is. But in the beginning, the woman has to always go first. Unless my daughter's just being a brat and this, that, and the other, and whatever, for whatever reason. But 9 times out of 10, the woman would have to go first in the beginning. I don't know, man. It's tough because she might not want to see you with that's tough.
Yeah, and I know for daughters, a lot of times, if the daughter has not had, the daughter wants the dad to herself.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? There's a different dynamic.
She better come in there right with the daughter then.
Man, but see, I would.
Your mom, you're very.
Yeah, well, so this is where I'm blessed at. Like my mom stands on the wife is gonna come first. Like even with my brother, she's always like, you have a wife. Like my mama backs, so like it's to the point, and I find it very, and I'm glad I'm able to see that as an example. I think y'all see the meme where it says your mom and the wife is getting in the car. Who sits in the front? My mom will sit. My mom will sit in the back. Like she will offer up, and my brother's wife, like it's like my brother's wife is always like, no, Miss James, you sit. You know what I'm saying? But my mom is always like, no, you have a wife. Wife comes. So because I see that, I know that wouldn't be a issue. But I want to speak for Mo, man. I really believe, bro, if you're dating and it's getting serious, I think your first conversation I think you have to prepare your daughter for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I think you have to have that conversation with her. I mean, and the woman you meet is already going to know that you have one, but you have to check the temperature, because I wouldn't even bring the woman around the daughter until that temperature is right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that would be on you to try to kind of set that, you know what I'm saying? So you can't just bring her in like, hey, this is, you know what I'm saying? Like, so hopefully to find that balance, and then just having the conversation with the woman you're dating, going, hey, this is, seeing where her head is, because she may be like understanding and be like, yo, I know this is your daughter, So I'm off. So I think it's always going to fall on the man to set the boundaries. In my thoughts.
So 1,000%.
In that situation, I think like for me, I have 2 kids, so I feel like I feel like the kids kind of go on the way the relationship is with that parent. So for me, if my kids are in a good relationship with me, then they're gonna probably be okay with whoever I'm with. The problem comes when the kids are not in a good relationship, or if they've seen a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Right? Like if they've seen, if I have a son, so if my son saw a lot of guys treat me bad, then that's all because of what I've allowed him to see. So this new person coming in, it's not necessarily, sometimes they may be taking strays based on the fact that the kids either are mad at that parent and don't have a good relationship, or they've seen a lot of bad things and they're over it, right? I've heard people say my mom doesn't make good decisions when it comes to women. So whoever the mom brings in, they're going to kind of be like, ah. Now that's another thing. Let me ask you guys this, because we have a friend, and I remember hearing this and I was like, wow, that's crazy. He was like, I don't want to date women that have boys. And I wonder if either of you have dated a woman with sons, and if so, do you understand why that could be difficult? Because he was like, a lot of times if a woman has a son, the boy is protective or disrespectful, and the mom is not like, there's a lot of issues with I've heard with women dating men and they have a son, even like it's like the baby boy type dynamic, you know what I mean? So where the boy feels like he's the man of the house, and even if he's a teenager or a preteen and he's a little bit, skeptical and standoffish and territorial when it comes back to his mom. So have you ever encountered a woman that had a son? And if so, has that ever been a problem for either of you?
That's a great question. I've only, and so in the situations, either they were younger, I would say under 10 type of deal, so that they hadn't got to that adolescence, teenage years to start to feel themselves, or on the other side, they were already grown and mom has her own house and the kids are out. So I haven't experienced the teenage type of situation. So I haven't experienced that I haven't experienced that in that age group.
Because at one point you were that. So do you think that would have been difficult for a man to come in with your mom when you were a teenager?
You said for me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, so I mean, shit. I mean, sorry, did I cuss? It was funny you say that, because it took. So my pops passed when I was like my junior year in high school. So it took. I never thought about it until I seen it, and it took a minute for me to get used to my mama dating. I was halfway grown, like mid-20s, but it was a conversation that I had with my brother that allowed me to open up. You know what I'm saying, to it. And so, and his whole idea was like, do you just want her to be lonely around here? Like what does that look like? And it was like, you know what, that's very selfish. I would imagine, I think when I was in high school, I couldn't have imagined it. I probably would have had attitude, because I would have been like, too soon. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have been on that. I think I would have naturally just been on that. But I mean, for me, I think I'm trying to think. I would have been on too soon. But my mom also said to me though too, she was like, well, if I would have passed away, your daddy probably would have been dating immediately, right? So it's really crazy of the double standard. You know what I'm saying? But boys, but the thing is, it's the same way as the opposites attract, right? Like the sons cling on to their mother and the daughters cling on to their fathers. Like, I mean, that's just what it is. Just like you said, like if the daughter is like, if you're dating the man and you're coming in, Chris, that daughter is like, who is she? You know?
Hey man, I'm living it over here. I'm living it. I am living it. It is not. And let me ask you this, Mo, because Jamal, you don't have the situation, but for me, I used to think, I used to think if I get with a man and he has children, we have to all be like, the Waltons or, just, Brady Bunch. But I kind of realized after going through real life that sometimes it just may not do that, may not work that way. So would you be okay marrying a woman that your daughter just did not like? And if her and the daughter just weren't necessarily cool, they were cordial for you, but they weren't really like, they didn't have a relationship because your daughter is 21. So it's not like she needs a mom. But would you be okay if she was like, yeah, your wife is there, I'll come over later, or where they weren't really like close, or do you desire someone that would really embrace and be close to your daughter?
I mean, I prefer that, but if it don't, oh well. My daughter would just have to schedule visits when hey, listen, I'm at this point, I got life keeps moving, man.
Moving, yeah, for sure.
Like I would love for it to happen, and I would still continue to try every now and then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Invite her over, this, that, and the other, or let her know but I can't stop my life and continue, and she's gonna go on and have I don't like and things of that nature. And that's just part of the process, man. But nah, I'm not gonna stop. If I'm with her, I'm with her, and my daughter figures she'll be all right.
Yeah, because you know what? It's funny because kids never, we never think about, would my mom approve? Right? As a child, you're just like, I'm gonna date. I remember my mom did not like my first husband. I did not care. And then she eventually started, accepted him, and they became very close. But at first she was like, this is not it. And I was like, it is it. And I'm doing it. My high school boyfriend, she hated. I never cared. But as a child, you feel like the parents should put you first when it comes to their relationship, which is kind of selfish,
Yeah. Cause, and not to get all deep now. I mean, I feel like Christal, you're probably more, knowledgeable in this area than myself, but isn't technically like for biblically, shouldn't the husband and wife or the people to come before the kids? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing that sometimes I think about for people, like when it gets to blended families or people that are dating. Like I think in the beginning stages, it's definitely like because your kids are your constant. You don't know if this person is going to be around or not, but it has to hit some point because then
not because kids are not.
You think from the beginning, like
not from the beginning. No, to your point, not from the beginning, but like for you live in Atlanta, your mom is in Oklahoma City. So if she based her life around you, you're living your life.
Right. Yeah. So, right.
And my kids, trust me, these two Negroes have shown me that they are off and living their life. I mean, and I'm proud of them. But at no point is my son calling and being like, Mom, are you okay with me going out with this chick? He's not at all.
Ever.
And my son has not lived in the same state as I have in 6 years. And he's only 26. So actually it's been long. Oh my God. Since he's been 16. So it's been 10 years since Stone has lived anywhere near me. He's been in Massachusetts and New York, and now he's in Michigan. So he didn't ask me, could he do that? He was just like, Mom, I'm moving.
Yeah.
So if I live my life around my son and my daughter, I would be lonely,
But I'm saying, but I guess my thing is, and Mo, you can hop in there too, is that, but that's with them being as adults. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if they're, because I think about the relationships of people when you do have a teenager or a younger child, and it's everything, which it should be about the kids, but people being able to understand or accept that. And so that could almost be the start of something that continues years and years down the line. And you look up 10 years and this child is 20, 21, 22 and still coming before you. Like that can push people apart at some point.
And I've seen it. Especially with boys.
Okay.
Like I've never dated a woman like kind of like your situation. They were either younger or never teenagers, or they're grown.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is now it's like right in college or just got out or whatever. But the women some of the women that I ran across who were single for a long time and had that son, especially when the son was young.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when she was young, pardon me. You'd be like, yo, is the son the boyfriend? Like, it's real, like, all the posts, when a man, some men, and I'll speak for me, when I look at a woman and I see how she's moving through social media and just in general, I'm thinking, is there room for me? And a lot of times, I see it on a personal level without the kids. I've seen women so into themselves. I'm like, she loves herself. There's no room for nobody else.
I had a guy tell me that.
She's never going to give you, and we only want a half of a quarter of that. But she's so, it comes off like she's so, and I just want to be real clear. It comes off like, where's there room for anybody but you? That's number one. And then I see how they move, and it's always with the son. It's never so much with the daughter, but you be like, yo, this is her man. She everything, like everything. I'm speaking about somebody specific right now, and I'm just like, man, she was like, well, she just started a singles thing on TikTok and showing her single life vlog. I'm like, she gonna be doing, and she in the mid-50s. I was like, man, I don't know any brother that can see. This son that moved out the country, came back, moved to she's all about this young man, and he's probably about 26, 27.
But that's what she has to love on. I think women by nature are nurturing. And so if you don't have anybody else to love on, then in a perfect world, you got the mom and the dad, right? And then the kids leave, and then the mom can focus on the dad. But when there's nobody, and I would say, is this woman, does she just have one child?
One child? I mean, show a video of your girlfriends at night. It's just him and her.
Well, that's her love. I got a friend like that. She has one son, and her son is she calls him her sunshine. That is what happens.
I'm just saying how it comes off.
Imbalance. No, I get it. I think that a lot of times women do that. And I was afraid of doing that with my son. I think that's why I let him go to college so early, because a relationship with a mother and son is different than with a mother and a daughter. But the father-daughter relationship is very much like that. There are girls that will act like I mean, I have that. My husband's daughters act like they are his woman. So I just be like, okay, all right, I just let you have it. I mean, but it's territorial, right? And I think that sometimes you have to figure that out. But I like the fact that you said, a lot of times I've heard men say, I don't see any room for me. I had a guy tell me that because I was such an involved mom. And I will say, for me, probably when my kids were between the ages, I got divorced when my kids were 9 and 12. So they were in that stage of teenagers and stuff. And I don't think I really could have had a real relationship until they were out of college, out of high school and in college, because I was consumed with cheer practice, soccer practice. I didn't have a lot of time, and I was dating just because I didn't want to be by myself, but I also didn't have time to make someone else a priority in trying to be a good mom to both of them, and I don't think men need a small amount. Men need a large amount.
I just need a little to see a little daylight.
Y'all need a lot. No.
So when I was dating a young lady with a child, the one thing when it came to that time thing is I understood, just from her perspective of parent, but I would be on my ish of where's the daddy at? You can't get a weekend off. You can't get. I mean, because that's it's yo. Can we hold this man accountable? Can he come pick? I mean, because
how can you make him if you don't want to?
I mean, but I so that was I don't. Every situation is definitely different, but I think there's a level. Yes. If there's a level of accountability, if he's around, and wants to be. In this particular situation, bro was just he was on some, since she don't want to be with me, I'm not gonna be around, or he would pop. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, like you gotta still set some fire or hold accountability to that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean that at least it becomes a question. So yeah, if the dude is just like vacant and nowhere around, then that's one thing. But if he's just potentially holding out just because things aren't going his way, it's like, yo, a level of accountability got to be somewhere.
But the kid, what I had with my son is he did not want to be, kids feel the energy of the other parent not wanting to be around, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you try to force it, the kid doesn't want to be forced on somebody. I had that. My son we had a deep conversation one time, and I was like, I got it. Like if this other parent is not actively trying to see me, don't put me off on them, because that's not what they want. And you gotta realize that doesn't feel good for the child either. It just reinforces that feeling of rejection. I think, that at least that was a situation in our case.
No, I've seen that situation.
Yeah.
I might have even experienced it. But I will say this, if you're not ready, if you don't have room in your life to date, then don't date.
Yeah, don't date. Yeah, that's the yeah.
Everybody has to be like this. If you don't have that time and you don't have this or that, that's fine. Just don't date. But don't be on dating sites trying to date. You're not set up to date.
But you know what, Mo, man, I think that's tough though, to tell somebody when they're trying to figure it out and try to find. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's I hear you. Huh?
On your own time.
No, yeah, I was that person. So I was on dating sites. I mean, I think it probably was a dating disaster for the man. I remember being on a dating, I was on a dating site, and I went out with this very, very handsome guy. And we went to this restaurant downtown that I had chosen. And at the time, my son was in his freshman year. He went to college when he was 15. So he was young. And I owed the school 20 grand because he got a scholarship, but I was trying to get the rest of it together. And you remember this time in my life. I was driving Uber. I was doing all these different things trying to get the money, and I was consumed. And I remember us being on a date and him just being like, because I just couldn't even focus on anything else besides trying to get everything right for my son. I shouldn't have been on the dating site, but I didn't know that. You learned that later. And I wasted a great guy. Obviously that wasn't the guy for me, but I messed that up because he was actually trying to get to know me, and I was just like obsessed over trying to figure out, worrying about my kids and being totally not present.
If that was the same, the shoe was on the other foot, and just like we talked about, and the guy's money wasn't right, you would tell him, you shouldn't be dating right now. You're not ready. Even though he wants to date and he feels lonely and he's out on a date thinking about how he's going to pay his bills.
I personally wouldn't tell him that. I told you that a guy told me, well, I really want to take you out again, but I'm not going to get paid for another 2 weeks. So we could go out. And I was just like, I knew I wasn't, I didn't like him enough to where I would want him to spend his check on me at all.
No. You said brokey. That's what she said. No, she said respectfully. Thank you, and no. Grand opening, Greg.
I'm saying some other girl might have really been into him.
Yeah, he done poured his hand. See, that's where it gets tricky. He done came through with the honesty. You know what I'm saying? Here he could have been making that goddamn credit card max out the limit. That's you know what I'm saying? And thinking his honesty will at least give him another 2 weeks. And she said, golly. It's tough out here.
Have the ability to max out any credit card. We were at capacity with the movies and a cheap date.
Look, he told you, check the check. He said 2 weeks, I got you.
He did. But I'm just saying, I didn't tell him that he shouldn't be dating. Now, should he be dating someone probably like myself? No. Right. But there is a woman that he could have been dating.
It's not you for sure.
He gave up too much information. He should have just stayed busy until 2 weeks.
That's
what I would have said.
It's hard out here. I know that, man. Yep. Yeah, I'm with you, Mo. I'm with you. I'm with
I
you.
thought it was really sweet that he said.
I thought it was sweet. Didn't get him a second date. He's crushed to this day. He's crushed to this
He
day.
ain't never told the truth no more.
He ain't told the truth no more. He ain't told the truth no more. He said, nah.
Now y'all see why men lie?
For real.
So wait a minute, wait. Are you saying that he would have preferred for me to use him? No.
No, he would have preferred for you to wait that 2 weeks to go back out. You know what I'm saying? he was looking for the you know what? Yes, like I enjoy.
You know what? He thought you was on the date. He thought you was cool. He was like, you know what?
I can be vulnerable. He was vulnerable. He was vulnerable.
And I
he
appreciate
sounds like
it.
someone that would be understanding. You know what? I'm going to tell her.
I'm gonna tell her the truth.
I think that he won by telling me the truth. I did not use him. I think that I appreciated him, and I
now hold on, no, but let me ask you though, because let's start off with the first thing. You weren't attracted to him like that. Do you think if you were attracted to him, and you still just see, boy, yeah, she don't do broke.
I mean,
she
Jamal,
don't do.
no. Jamal, what? Okay. What? How are we gonna get to know each other?
He just said 2 weeks. We can still talk on the phone. I'm pretty sure this was during the time where talking on the phone was still okay. You know what I'm saying? Like
he was like, Mo, you could talk to that girl from out of state on the phone until him. Oh, now shit don't apply.
That was different. That was different.
You can go see the girl and she can come see you. That's not the same. My thing is, we're not so, and that's just so every time we only get to go out once every month because that's what and again, the date was not even expensive. It was movies and like a Dave and Buster's. So
you don't get to determine what's expensive for this man.
Well, I'm just saying it wasn't like it was he tricked off. It was not that. It was not tricked off.
Was it the first date?
Yes.
Was you expecting him to trick off on the first date? He was trying to get to know you.
I thought it was but he acted like he spent way too much. He was like
she said respectfully, not in 2 weeks, homie.
He acted like he had blown the bank. He was like, I'm not going to be able to do this again. Not this week. I get paid again on the 21st.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay, but see, I did appreciate every time I tell this story, I did appreciate his honesty. And I did, I didn't want him to waste his money that way. Because if you save up your money and you take me out,
saved up, he spent some of his check.
He told me that he did not get a check and he wanted to. He was really so sweet. Y'all are making it bad.
He was really so sweet. We don't get points for sweet. we don't get second dates.
He really was. He was like, I want to take you out again and we can do something, but I'm not gonna I get paid every 2 weeks, so I'll be able to take you out. And it was really sweet. But
he played his hand wrong. He could have did. Anyway,
you coming over to say hi? No, okay. I think Gun Boss is here to tell me heads in beds.
Yes. What time is it? Yeah, heads in beds.
Heads in beds. But yes, this has been fun. Before we wrap, I'm coming back. Before we wrap tonight, I appreciate Jamal joining us, and I hope that everybody got something from this as far as what makes some men consider a woman to be wife material. I was watching a commercial for the new season of Queen's Court on Peacock, and Lisa Ray said, "Who wouldn't want to date a successful woman who has this and has that and has this?" And I was wondering, are we thinking as women? Are we thinking about what makes us a catch in terms of what men want or in terms of what we want? And I think most of us are looking in terms of what we want. Now, next Wednesday, I have a good sis coming on. And we're going to talk about what makes husband material, because
they're gonna have a list. Hey, they gonna blow us out the water, Mo. We didn't nail it enough. We was too broad. She gonna come. She got 1 through 10. Hey, it is strategized. It is. If he ain't got this, it's gonna be a master class.
Well,
It is gonna.
you all had an opportunity, and this is what you chose to do with it. You chose to say character.
Yeah.
That's real.
Wait, well, you heard what?
That's what you chose. So
yeah.
okay.
I'm standing by.
I just want to make sure that we realize that we don't want every man is not a husband. Most men are not husband material. And I think a lot of women are marrying men and then angry when he does not show up as a husband, but he never showed you any proof that he was a husband material to begin with.
Right.
So we'll get into that next Wednesday. Cherry says, thanks, Maul, for your input and perspective tonight. Your laugh is infectious. I love it. I saw someone else saying that they liked your smile. Thank you, Jamal. Let people know where they can find you if they want to keep up with your smile.
You can go to Instagram or all social media platforms at Mogul Mal, MOGUL MAL. MOGUL MAL.
Check out his too.
Yeah, he has a YouTube page too. Cherry said Maul has been your best male guest. Okay, that's fair.
Thank you.
We have had some characters.
I'll be watching. No, thank you. And thank you for having me. And
yeah, you gotta come. You have to come back. Maybe we'll do because I still want us to get into those. I got really sick last week and or the week before last and couldn't do the dating profiles. So we're probably gonna do that again. And yeah, we got to get into the dating profiles. Yep. Yeah.
Well,
So yeah. So okay, Linda says she just followed Jamal. Okay.
There you go. Check out his single too.
Those are all his teeth, Joda. I tell Jamal he should model for like Colgate or something because he does have a beautiful smile and he loves to show it. As you
I'm logging off. Thank you all. It's been thank you, Chris. Thank you, Mo.
We'll call you back again. Absolutely.
I'm out.
Thank you. Thank you guys for watching tonight. Tonight was a fun show. Hopefully you can share this. Make sure you share it with your friends and family and make sure you like it on the way out. Okay. We love you guys for watching. Make sure that you tune in on Friday for another edition of our relationship recap. We're going to be talking about Love and Marriage Detroit. And there's some drama going on there. So we'll see you guys Friday at 10 o'clock. I love you guys for watching.